Let's talk about black people. They're like white people, but with seasoning. In America, black people have had a long history of getting the short end of the stick. From slavery to Jim Crow to the criminal justice system to the sunken place. But when it came to the coronavirus, it seemed like for once, black people were catching a break.
A lot of these viruses were immune to.
Yeah.
Because our skin is radiant and our skin comes from the sun. Mm-hmm. That is our superpower, melanin.
Black people, we will not get the coronavirus because we got a little thing in our body where we call the melanin.
Minorities can't catch it. We straight.
Say that one more time.
Minorities can't catch it.
Minorities can't catch coronavirus.
Nah.
Why do you say? Why do you believe
Name
that?
one.
I don't know, but it could happen.
Name one, though.
It could happen.
Name one of us.
Yeah, when this whole pandemic was just kicking off, many people thought coronavirus was something that just didn't involve black people. Sort of like tennis elbow or Tiger King. Very quickly, we've come to learn that not only can black people get coronavirus, it turns out that black people are being hit harder than anyone else in America right now.
With the rate of infection increasing in cities across America, there are alarming new statistics showing the pandemic is taking an especially heavy toll on minority communities.
African Americans account for 41% of COVID deaths in Michigan, though only 14% of residents. In Chicago, black residents represent 72% of deaths, but just 30% of the population.
Louisiana's population is 32% black, which accounts for about 70% of coronavirus deaths.
The disparity in deaths among African Americans there is startling. The data is clear. Coronavirus is disproportionately impacting and killing people of color.
That's right. As America has become the epicenter of the coronavirus worldwide, Black America has become the epicenter of the virus's worst effects. And this has become such a major problem that even President Trump has taken notice.
In the U.S., African Americans are dying at a much higher rate from COVID-19 than other groups. President Trump calls it a real problem and a tremendous challenge.
This is something that's come up, and I don't mean by a little bit. I mean many times. It's a real thing. Now, why is it that the African American community is so much, numerous times more than everybody else? Why is it 3 or 4 times more so for the black community as opposed to other people? It doesn't make sense, and I don't like it. And we're going to have statistics over the next probably 2 to 3 days.
It almost sounds like Trump is jealous that black people get coronavirus more than anyone else, just because of the way he said it. How come black people are getting it and not me? What do they have that I don't have? Is it swag? Is that what it is? Is it caused by swag? No, but look, obviously I'm joking. I'm totally joking, man. If anything, it's refreshing. It's honestly refreshing to see President Trump so concerned about the black community. But when he says it doesn't make sense that coronavirus is hitting black Americans the hardest, it's actually the opposite, right? Because when you look at the systemic and socioeconomic factors facing black people in America, it makes complete sense. You see, overall, black people are less likely to have health insurance. Black people are more likely to have pre-existing conditions like asthma and diabetes, and those things make coronavirus more lethal. Black people are also more likely to be in service jobs where you can't work from home and you have to come into contact with lots of people every day. And of course, there's always just straight up racism that affects black people as well. For example, one study has found that black people have been less likely to be offered a coronavirus test by their doctor, even if they're exhibiting the same symptoms as white patients. Yeah. So while almost every industry around the world is shut down, it looks like racism is still considered an essential service. And racism is even affecting whether or not black people can protect themselves and cover their faces when they go outside.
Jody Armour is a law professor at USC Law School. He and other academics believe wearing masks can pose a problem for people of color.
The fear of being mistaken for a dangerous criminal may be greater than the fear of contracting COVID-19. Wearing protective masks while black is a concern just like driving while black is.
This officer right here behind us,
He just followed us from outside, told us that we cannot wear masks. There's a presidential order, there's a state order, and he's following us right now to the store. We're being asked to leave for being safe.
Come on, man, this is some bullshit. If black people don't wear a mask in public, what's gonna happen? People are gonna say they're endangering public health. But then if black people do wear masks, then they're treated like they're preparing for a mission in Red Dead Redemption or something. Like, what do you expect black people to do? At this point, the only safe way for black people to cover their faces in public is to try and disguise themselves as a white person. And I'm not talking about code switching. I'm talking about actually putting on a white person's face as your mask. Some people will be suspicious, but it'll work. Hey, you look white, but there's something off. Say something only a white person would say. I wish Kamala Harris was back in this race. Checks out. I'll see you at hockey practice, buddy. So look, the unfortunate truth is that the black community is being slammed by coronavirus right now. But in a way, it's not because there's anything special about coronavirus. It's because any widespread crisis in America is bound to hit the most vulnerable and disadvantaged groups the hardest. And yes, I know this is depressing, especially right now. I mean, you don't want to deal with coronavirus and racism at the same time. It's like two Marvel villains coming into one movie. We don't have enough heroes. What we do have is real-life black people showing how resilient they are. And one of the videos that gave me the most joy is this viral video of a group of black people throwing a social distancing block party that, I won't lie, brought me a little bit of joy. Ah, yes. I remember when the only thing in the air we had to worry about was 24 carats of magic. Those were the good old days.